Welcome to Creatively Optimized, the podcast for service businesses ready to shine online. I'm Jenny Belanger, the founder of Jenny B Designs, a web design studio that builds strategic and beautiful websites that are designed to book you ideal clients and make you money. With over 10 years of growing my own design business, I'm here to share tips to creatively optimize your business. Get ready to learn web design strategies for high converting websites, digital marketing tactics to reach ideal customers, and systems to simplify operations. If you're ready to blend creativity and strategy, you're in the right place. Join me on this journey to creatively optimize your unique business. Let's do this. From the title of this episode, you can tell where my head is. I am on the beach already. It is summer. This is my favorite season of the year. I feel like in New England, this is what we wait for. And I want you, if you are in New England, or if you're not and you're anywhere, I want you to be able to enjoy this summer, relax, and know that your website is working for you around the clock, bringing in those leads. Hence the title, Is Your Website Beach Ready? I want you to be able to unplug and not worry about if your website is capturing leads, if someone is trying to check out and it's not working and you're losing sales, or if your website is vulnerable to security hacks or things like that. I want you to be able to step away this summer, have some time, go off the grid if you want, and not have a single concern or worry about your website. If we haven't already met, I'm Jenny B. I own Jenny B Designs. We are a brand and web design studio, and I love doing just this, building websites that work for you, that you know it's got your back and it's going to bring in leads and make you money. So let's jump in and chat about my top tips for getting your website beach ready. The first one that I have, and I think it is the absolute most important thing to do on your website, is streamline your lead experience and add automations if you can. Let me share with you how my website makes me feel confident when I'm on the beach. Take my kids this summer. They love going to the water, and we'll head there for the day. And on my phone, I will get a notification that someone filled out the lead form on my website. That means that they went to my website, they learned a little bit about who I am, what I did. All roads lead to my intake form on my contact page. And then they filled out the form. I got a notification that they did that. Once they filled out the form, they are automatically taken to my scheduler. When they get there, they can schedule a discovery call with me so that I can talk about their upcoming project. I get another notification saying that Sally just scheduled an appointment with me on Friday for 10 a.m. And this is what she wants to talk about. From that intake form, I have all the information I need for that meeting, her website URL, what she's looking to expand in her business for this upcoming year. And we have a date planned on the calendar. When she scheduled that, she also got an email thanking her for scheduling the appointment and sharing with her some resources that she can learn a little bit more about how we might work together. And then, as we near that Friday appointment, she's going to get reminders saying we have a meeting scheduled on Friday. Here is the link so that she is kept in the loop. On my end, I got all that information that I needed, and I have a lead appointment booked on Friday with Sally, and I didn't have to do anything. I was at that beach. I was enjoying time with my kids, and I got those 2 notifications on my phone. That's what I want for you. I want you to have a website that does all the work behind the scenes so that you know that it's going to do all that heavy lifting, and all you have to do is show up on the day that you have that meeting scheduled. What I suggest is, if you can, think about your process. What is it? Do you have the consultation like I just shared, and then someone schedules a call with you, and then from there you send them a proposal or you send them a link to buy your product? Or is it something that you're selling that the first step is they can actually just buy or join? I'm going to share with you some tips if you are in the model that you like to have that consultation call first. I suggest that you work with some tools that allow you to have this back-end implementation. For me, I use HoneyBook. And I know a lot of people out there there's Dubsado, there's 17 Hats, there's a Moxie. There are a bunch of different options out there that allow you to put this system in place. When someone fills out a consultation form, they're immediately taken to your calendar and then they can get on your schedule without you having to do anything on the back end. If you can, think about investing in one of those systems and getting it set on your website. I think that is the best course of action for you. This is how you can feel secure knowing that your website will work for you. If you're a person who says, I don't want to have my calendar open for anyone to just schedule, I kind of want to make sure it's the right fit from their form before you give them the calendar link. I understand that. And I want to share with you some options that you could do if this is the case for you. If you are one of those people who wants to be able to check and see the answers on the form and make sure that it is the right fit, then first let's start with having the form on your website when someone fills it out. When they do, you're going to get a notification on your phone. Let's say you're on the beach. And what I want you to be able to do is have a way to respond to them without having to do too much work on the back end. I love templates. I have templates set up in Google Email. For the person who wants to be able to respond to leads but doesn't want to have to craft a new email every single time, what I suggest you do is set up some templates and have a template that you can easily send out to those people who send you a form that it is a good fit. Have a template that if it's not a good fit, where do you send them? What is the next step in their journey and where do you direct them to? Have a couple of different options that are easy to go. That way, when you're on the beach and you get the email and the form submission of someone sending their information, you can easily respond without too much effort. Just send the template off to whoever needs to get it, and then they are able to take the next step in their buyer journey with you. Now, if you want to take this to the next level, I like to integrate an app like Zapier or Make. These two apps allow you to connect two pieces of standalone software so that they work in conjunction together. And here's what I'm going to suggest. When someone fills out a form on your website and you get emailed with that information, wouldn't it be nice for the person to actually receive an email thanking them for their submission and telling them what's going to happen next? Today's world, I feel like we all want instant gratification. That's why I highly suggest that you go the route where someone fills out a form and then they're able to immediately schedule with you. People just want to be able to get it done. They want to know that they've got something on the calendar and that they can take the next step forward in the process. And sometimes when you add that extra layer of friction, such as filling out a form and then waiting to send a response, that delay can sometimes lose people and people can drop off from the buyer's journey. But if you are able to send them an email saying, thank you so much for your submission, I received it and I will be in touch within 24 hours or whatever you want to say, and then add some additional resources for them, they will feel a little bit more secure in their journey and will have better results when you take the next step with them wanting to schedule that appointment or sending them that link to buy the thing that you have. Zapier and Make are a great option for this. What you can do is you can set up an automation that says every time an email comes into your inbox with a specific subject on your website side of things, when someone fills out a form, perhaps you give it a specific subject name so that you know when you get that response. And then in turn, you can tell Zapier every time. Let's just use the simple example of website submission. Every time you receive an email that has website submission, you can respond to the person who sent that email with a templated email. So that person will get an email from you, and that can be made possible by incorporating a Zapier or a Make.com. I think this really takes it up a notch, so that people do get that feeling, that sense of instant gratification. And then once they get that email from you, that auto response, of course, you're getting their email and then deciding to send off the template right away so that they can take the next step in your journey. Now, regardless if you integrate software like a Zapier to automatically send a response when you get a website submission, You, of course, are going to be implementing that template that I mentioned earlier that you're going to actually send out to the person based on if you want to work with them or not. In that template, what I think is non negotiable is that you need to have a link to a scheduler because this is going to reduce that back and forth and it's going to allow someone to get on your calendar without you having to do anything and hence making your website beach ready. Again, the goal at the end of the day is so that you don't have to worry about anything and your appointments are all set up for you. You just need to have a place where you can send people to that they can see your availability on your calendar and they can book an appointment without having to go back and forth. There's nothing worse than getting an email from someone saying, I'm available to book an appointment on this day at this time and this day at that time. And I might receive that email as a person who wants to work with you today because you're going to send a response back quickly with that template. But I might not know if I can do either of these dates until I can look at my calendar more thoroughly. And then perhaps by the time that I do that, you might have already made an appointment with someone else at that time. Perhaps it won't work for me. And so I say those don't work, or maybe I'm just overwhelmed and I don't actually respond. The best thing to do is to integrate a scheduler. And there are free versions of this. Calendly, I believe, has a free version that you can just have one appointment. And it's just a simple thing that you can do to reduce that back and forth and incorporate into your sales process so that people can just immediately book from you. The best thing you can do is add that CRM, but if not, then use those templated emails like I shared. Either way, you want an automated scheduler. And this will help reduce the friction and make sure that you're booking more appointments right away on your website and it's working hard for you behind the scenes. That is kind of my first bucket of what you should do on your website to get it prepared to be beach ready. I want to share a few tips that you can kind of think about as you go into this next season. We're just coming out of spring. And if you were following me for a little bit, I talked about spring cleaning your website earlier this year. I do this once a quarter. I love to kind of take a peek at my website and let's talk about your visuals and your copy. I want you to just take a quick look and make sure that everything that you have on your website is fresh and clean and it reflects the services that you have for this summer and this upcoming fall. Streamline your copy and your text. Try to have a fresh set of eyes, take a peek, and make sure that it makes sense still. Thinking about your navigation, streamlining that, ensuring that your navigation is clear and the labels are clear. Making sure that everything that you have listed is a service that you are still offering this summer. Going through your pages, making sure that there are no dead ends. And what I mean by that is every single bottom of every single page on your website has a call to action, guiding people to their next step in your sales process. And of course, making sure that all those calls to action lead people to that form that you want them to fill out, or to that appointment booking system that you have, or to purchase your thing. And then the next thing I want you to look out for is your opt-ins. We're talking about making sure your website is set up when you're sitting on that beach. And the first thing is making sure that you're just getting those leads or coming into your inbox. But the second thing is maybe if someone isn't ready to work with you, like I always say, you need an irresistible freebie, a way to capture their email address. And in turn, you can send them emails and build that know, like, and trust factor. I want you to make sure that all of these opt-in forms are working properly on your website before you leave for the summer. And by leave,
Right.
I know we're not leaving, but I want you to be able to go on vacation and not worry about your website or take a day or two off and go to the beach with your kids like I intend to do. And just know that everything is set up for success. And this includes reviewing those opt-in forms, making sure that your names and the emails that people give you are going to the right group, that if you have any automations on the back end, such as a welcome series, that those are being triggered and that people are being added to your list, and that you have some emails scheduled as well out for the summer. I love pre-scheduling all of my content. It's something that I do as part of my content planning. I plan a month in advance, and that way I'm able to stay consistent on my themes, make sure that I'm repurposing my content properly, and that things are scheduled so I can leave for a day and not feel like everything is going to fall apart. And the last thing that I want you to check in terms of your website is I want you to go in and check two things. Your domain, ensuring that your domain, whatever registrar that you purchased it from, be it GoDaddy or Namecheap or Fat Cow, I think is another one, wherever you bought that domain name, your URL, like for me, jennybdesigns.com, that it is set to automatically renew. You don't want to let your domain expire. This is so important, especially if you're going to be away for a vacation or you're going to be out of the office for a few days. If your domain expires, that means that someone can buy it. And therefore, you lose your website. You lose all that credibility that you built on that URL, and you lose your email. So be sure to check that your domain is set to automatically renew on the back end. And then finally, just check your hosting. Log into your hosting provider, whoever does your hosting. Again, similar situation, be it WP Engine. I recommend ICDsoft for my clients. There are a lot of them out there, SiteGround. Just check and make sure that your hosting plan is also set to auto-renew and that it is, in fact, taking backups for you. And backups are important because you never know what's going to happen to your website. And more specifically, I'm speaking to my WordPress friends about this. But you need to make sure that whoever is hosting your website is taking backups of it and they are keeping a fair number of backups. I like to see like 60 to 90 days. And if not, that you have a process that you are backing up your website yourself or you have a web designer caring for your website. Either way, you need to know that you have backups available in case something does go wrong and you need to roll to a backup. Which brings me to my final point. While you are going through the summer, make sure that your website is monitoring some way for uptime and that you get a notification if it is in fact down. Because I don't know about you, but I don't typically go to my website every single day. And I wouldn't know that my website went down unless I got a notification. I actually use Manage WP and Remote WP to monitor my clients' websites. You can use them as well if you are just wanting to monitor your website alone. But there are also a few free website monitoring softwares out there. I believe that there's one called Uptime Robot, and they have a free monitoring service. You might as well get your site monitored so that you know if it's down. Because if it's down and you're out there in the world, then people are not able to get in contact with you and you will be missing leads and losing money through your website. So my final tip for you is have some type of website monitoring service looking out for your site to let you know if it does in fact go down. And there you go. Those are tips to make sure that your website is beach ready. First one is implementing a CRM or a templated system with a calendar that you can automatically send to your leads, or you can semi-automatically send if you're utilizing the templated version, but just having a way that people can book in with you without you having to do much on the back end. The second tip is checking your content, your navigation, ensuring that everything reflects your business as it is today, because that's really important. You want to make sure that it's fresh and clean for the summer and going into the fall, reflecting what you're actually offering. The next is making sure that your opt-in forms, the way that you collect email addresses, are all set and it is functioning properly. And finally, to just look at the back end, make sure that your domain is auto-renewing, your hosting is working and it's auto-renewing, it's also taking backups, and that you have a way of monitoring if your website is up or down this summer. Those are my tips to make your website beach ready. I gotta be honest, if you implement the first one, there is nothing better than being out in the world, doing your own thing, and just seeing that lead pop up that you have an appointment on Friday with an exciting new prospect and a new project to work on. I want that for you. I want you to feel happy and excited about your website and know that it is working behind the scenes for you 24/7. And if you find that it is not and you're unsure of what to do next, then definitely reach out. Send me a message. I'm on LinkedIn and I'm also on Instagram, and I'd love to hear from you. And I'd be happy to share ways that you can make your website a little bit better and work a little bit harder for you. I'll see you next time. Thanks so much for listening to this podcast all the way to the end. I really appreciate you being here. Please make sure to subscribe to the podcast, rate, review, and share it with someone else you know it can help. If you like this episode, then I want to invite you to visit jennybedesigns.com, where you'll find videos and resources to help make your current website work even harder for you. And if you're feeling like your current website doesn't truly reflect you or your brand today, it's not attracting your ideal clients or making sales, or maybe you just feel embarrassed by it and it's holding your business back, then reach out. I'd love to help you design a website that truly reflects you, works for you 24/7, bringing in those ideal clients and making you money. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time for another new episode.